Two. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sup Talk Radio. This is our very first, test at this service where you, the listener, will be able to ask live and real-time questions. I am joined by Will of Power Supplements, and right behind him will be Jake. Jake's having just a few minutes behind. But the reason behind this, folks, is I get questioned all the time of what do I need to do what are the steps of opening up a brand, making supplements, manufacturing, sourcing, everything else. So wanted to bring two personal friends onto the show. And, we'll do this for about an hour. And if there's more that we need to do, then we'll kind of do a part two. But Will, welcome to the show. This is your, third time with us.
Yeah, thanks, man. I always appreciate the invites.
But so, Will, remind us again for people that, gosh, I think the first time I had you on the show was maybe 2 years ago. It feels like. Give us a little history on the brand, about you and things like that. How long you guys been in existence?
Yeah, sure. So I own Power Supplements. I have three other business partners. We all came together in March of 2018 to form the company. We've always had a goal of not being to be almost a brand that could essentially make someone's life better. Essentially, it's more of like a general health type supplements. We focus on energy just to make sure you're not tired, as opposed to aggressive pre-workouts. We have sleep aids to make sure that you wake up feeling refreshed, and then also our Protropic, which is more for mental clarity and gut health. So it's kind of, we eliminate the excuses that you have for why you can't do things throughout the day is kind of our motto for what we go for and the products that we develop. Like I said, we started about 3 years ago. I've been running with our main product, Power Rush. Just came out with a new flavor on that a few months ago that's been doing incredibly well for us. It's a peach iced tea that's absolutely delicious. And then we introduced our two other products about September of 2019, and the line's just been growing since then. Got a couple new releases coming in the next few months. And that's pretty much where we're at right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, Jake of ASC Supplements. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Gosh, it's been a while since I've seen you. I haven't seen you with a full beard. Is that a COVID beard, or is that something new?
Oh yeah, post-military beard. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jake, thank you so much for joining us as well. As I said at the beginning of the show with Will, two great guys that I want to get on the show here. I get questioned a lot. What are steps? What are things to do, not to do with opening up a brand? And I know, Jake, you've been doing this for a couple of years. You've got a very large or a healthy size catalog. Will is a little bit newer, a little bit of a smaller catalog, but you guys have two different audiences that you guys are going after. So I thought you guys would be a good kind of counterbalance to each other. So, Jake, for people that aren't familiar with you and your brand, maybe give us a little quick overview of the brand, how long you guys have been in existence.
Started in 2017. The flagship is at Jefe. Sicario Demonio. I just started out as something I really didn't know. I still don't know, honestly, what I'm doing, but I learn every day, get better, So, that's pretty much it. I wanted to provide a good experience to people. Pre-workouts was a big thing to like us it's like an hour before we went to the gym. And, everyone would be passing around pre-workout and be like, oh, man, this pre-workout's so cool, so good, it's awesome, So when I started Googling and learning about the process, like, well, let me see what I can do for my people, see if I can get them excited about pre-workout. So that's kind of how it did.
And Will, what made you decide to actually jump into this very crazy market? I mean, let's face it, it's so large. You're a new company trying to exist. What made you decide to do it?
Yeah, so there's I've always been entrepreneurial. Anytime I get an idea, normally I can't stop thinking about it for until I actually try to figure out a way to make it a reality. And originally, Power was supposed to be a protein shake additive. When we had originally started, it was going to be almost like a 5-hour energy capsule. And it was going to be something with like some creatine and some other, recovery ingredients that you would add to a protein shake. And then it would also enhance the flavor a little bit. So if you're just been sitting drinking on like a chocolate protein shake for the last like 2-3 months, you could have something that would add strawberry to it, mint, the, coffee flavor. And then it kind of gives you a little bit more to what you've just been taking as a post-workout. After doing some research on it, trying to get everything together, it just was so unbelievably inefficient for cost effectiveness. Basically, you were looking at almost like $1.25 for an individual packet for it, and no one wants to double, if not triple, the price of a protein shake. So it was kind of something that we just realized that the market didn't really need. But while we were doing that, we realized, getting started, we still wanted to start a supplement brand. So we ended up formulating Power Rush. Our business partner, Lawrence, was just mixing up raw ingredients the whole time while he was in college, and he was playing rugby and doing professional bodybuilding. And this was the formula that he was using. So we ended up just flavoring it a little bit better, packaging it, and that was pretty much it from there.
Jake, same question for you. What made you decide to open up a brand?
Yeah, I just really like to provide an experience for people. Kind of like that pre-workout story. That goes. I like to recommend something, and people like, damn, that shit was, I loved it. So I have a master's in sports and health science. So anytime I had a chance to talk about nutrition, it was about supplements. And people, there's really not that much knowledge about supplements, like ingredients and what they do besides the peer-reviewed studies out there. So when I started researching this stuff, I really just looked at the peer-reviewed studies, and I just really enjoy putting good stuff out there, and I love to hear the feedback. Like, oh, I love the pre-workout. Brings warms my heart. So,
Jake, did you already know that you wanted to go after? When I look at your brand, I look at a little bit more of the hardcore person, and maybe I'm wrong because obviously your label is a little more edgy, and obviously your pre-workout. Did you know right off the bat when you were thinking about the brand that you wanted to go after more of the hardcore person?
Yeah. Especially with the pre-workout, definitely wanted to go after the high-end user.
And Will, did you already have a customer in mind, or were you just kind of thinking about the formula first and then your target later?
A little bit of both. Since day one, we've always just been branded as an energy enhancement formula, so it was never supposed to be like some hardcore pre-workout. We always felt that energy drinks that you could pick up like from a convenience store never really provided enough effectiveness. They're normally either lower in caffeine or it's basically just caffeinated water and sugar. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they taste delicious, 90% of them, but it's still not really something that you need. It shouldn't be an energy drink. It almost is like the same thing as just like a coffee, pretty much. So we wanted to provide something that was going to be something that you could take before you went snowboarding or something, before you went skateboarding, but also it would be versatile for the gym as well, too. So it just really hit for any type of, active sports lifestyle, pretty much.
Gotcha. And Jake, when you first thought about the company, did you start sourcing manufacturers first? Did you already have like a label, or I should say a ingredient panel already made, or kind of what was that step for you?
So the first version, the pre-workout came out. I don't have a label for it anymore. I was looking last night, but it was very different. I didn't really know. I know I wanted to provide a high-end product to people. So like for example, pre-workout, I knew what people were looking for, but the label didn't like this at all. It didn't have the skull or none of that. Very plain. It was black. It was like a fatter tub. It was like some people call like the kitchen sink. You just throw everything in there.
Okay.
All of it. And it didn't last. I really didn't know. I didn't have a plan when I started that lot. And the manufacturer was just the first one I found online. But it didn't work out with them at all. So, yeah.
Well,
so I did military training for a little bit.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jake. Military training? No, go ahead. Military training, go ahead.
Yes, I did military training, and I just cut my losses with that lot. And then I just, like a couple months, I really reanalyzed the market, not just like ingredients and stuff, but kind of trying to put it better together. Like, how does my label match who I'm trying to sell to?
Okay.
And this came in. Yeah, so good.
Will, did you have a game plan going into this, or I should say business plan, or were you just kind of flying like the seat of your pants a little bit?
Yeah, no. So we actually had a 3-year business plan that put together when everyone came in and invested. It was great. It lasted for maybe about 8 months of us actually being in business before we outgrown it, pivoted, and figured out really what our voice was. But it definitely gave us a really good direction while we were getting started. Of these are the sales numbers that we needed to hit. This is where we want to go. This is how we're going to be selling it. Wholesale margins where we were trying to basically put all the analytical data together. It definitely helped out a lot. But like I said, we outgrown it. We've tried to steer into different directions since we started, especially with the rebrand that we just had a couple months ago too. So we had something, but it's not the same thing as it used to be.
Now, Jake, 3-4 years later, do you have a business plan in place now?
Yeah, it's a rough business plan, but got 4 quarters. Actually, Justin and Brady, they helped me out. I'm part of their, they're I forgot what they call it, but I'm part of their group. Every month, we get on calls every week, and they help me out. I am kind of scatterbrained, so they really do help me hone in my focus and to calm me down and get me to focus on one thing at a time. So they're really good. I recommend.
Will, how did you go about finding a manufacturer? Was it Google searches, or walk me through your vetting process? And then Jake, I'll go to you as well with that same question in a minute.
Yeah, so we were wrong right off the bat. I did the normal Google search, and you find NutriCap that says that they'll make 144 units for you, and we just said, hey, that sounds pretty good. And then we outgrew that probably in about a year or so. But yeah, they're a good place to get you started, to get almost like a prototype type product together. But once you start getting into, knowing what you're looking for and everything like that, and you need something that's a little bit more personalized for your brand, it's better to partner up with a manufacturer that's not looking to just do small batch runs for companies that are just going to flip in a small amount of time. So we're linked up right now with somebody that's a little bit more aligned with what we're trying to do. And they're definitely helping us out a lot with flavoring and, just a whole lot of, just input on branding and consultations and things like that. So it definitely was a step in the right direction for us. But yeah, pretty much, we looked for somebody that was CGMP and had lower minimums so that I didn't have to do 1,000, 5,000 unit run right off the rip. Gotcha.
And Jake, same question for you.
At first it was a Google search in 2017. And then when I was looking back at it, I started looking at everything. I actually ran into those same people in 2017, and nothing against them. I think they've changed, but their customer service, the guy I was dealing with, and all the other shit, they're I was put to the side, and that kind of annoys me, when you're getting pushed to the side, even though they tell you oh, you're just a smaller, you're just coming in here, I don't know how serious you are. That just kind of annoys me. But the second time when I relaunched the brand in late 2018, I did a lot of searches, and I actually went to a couple. There was Hurricane Michael at the time, and I was able to go out to the contract manufacturers, and
nice.
I found. I'm sorry?
I said nice.
Oh yeah, and I actually went to one. I toured it, and I really liked what they were about. They were really straightforward. Their QA guy came out with this laser thing, and he was talking about a part of their QA process, when they bring in the raws, they have a test sample, and they test the sample against incoming raws for quality. Okay. So all the stuff they showed me, I liked it, and I saw when you walk through, you see the brands that they make, and I felt very comfortable with the other players that they work with. So.
Did you walk into the facility with your own checklist, knowing what you were looking for, or was it just them trying to, just trying to sell you?
No, it was just me just walking in and seeing the process. I did a big thing too. If you're looking at contract manufacturers, look at if they got I forgot the form, but if they had any violations, if they had an inspection by the FDA. A lot of people do. NutriCap recently had some issue with their inspection. I think they had DMHA on the floor.
Okay.
So you have to look at that too. That's just another another thing. But they really didn't have anything. They had one thing, but I kind of understood what was going on there. So yeah, I saw that stuff and I really liked it compared to the other people I saw.
So now, did you find when you do it when infraction, I'll call them the infractions came up? Did you go to the FDA website, or how did you find out that information?
Public, you can Google it. So you can Google your contract manufacturer, and it should come up. Like if you Google NutriCap, don't sue me, NutriCap, but if you Google NutriCap, you'll find they've had some issues. Okay. It is what it is. These guys. Sometimes they take on more than they can handle, and sometimes you outgrow your team and they can't keep up with the procedures sometimes. A lot of times people mess up, contract manufacturers mess up with they're doing something, but they don't have it written. They don't have a written procedure. So the FDA inspector is like, well, can you show me how you do this? And they say, no, we just do it. And they don't like that. So they get cited. That's good.
I think it's important too for people that are listening, because I work in the life sciences industry as well, that there's kind of three different manufacturers. There's a CGMP, and guys chime in please to correct me if I'm wrong, where they are audited by the FDA. The FDA can knock on their door and audit them at any time. And then there's GMP, which doesn't have the C, where they are taking it upon themselves to follow good manufacturing practices. So they're not really audited, but they should be following. And then you've got other people that call some of the contract manufacturers more of a kind of a bathtub, whether in the back of the house somewhere mixing stuff up. So I guess Will, did they provide you with your new manufacturer or your old one? Did they provide you any documentation, or did you ask for any kind of documentation, policies, procedures? I mean, how are they verifying or validating what they're making is what you're getting?
So the new manufacturer that I'm using, I don't have that documentation currently, but it is, it is somebody that I'm in direct contact with, and they're very, very very high reputation in the industry right now, especially with a lot of the brands that they're working with. So, we'll most likely do that, but especially with the circumstances that we ran into last year, if anyone's been following our story, in July, we had an issue with the facility where our storage facility where our HVAC basically died on us, and my entire product line got completely scrapped. So we had somebody pretty much basically make something for us, not necessarily on the fly, but it was a 3-week turnaround, which was, that's unheard of for a lot of these manufacturers. Normally you're 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer, and then shipping on top of that. And it was one of those things where it was basically like, oh my God, I need a favor. Like, can you please help me out? And it was like, yeah, all right, man, I got you. So kind of where we're at.
Jake, when you launched, was your pre-workout the only product that you came to market with, or was there something else at that time of opening up the company?
2017 was the pre-workout. But when I call it a relaunch, when we relaunched the brand in 2019, early 2019, it was El Jefe, Sicario, and Bomba. So it's 3 products.
But with your first launch, was it just the one product?
Yes.
Okay. And Will, did you come with just Power, or did you have the 2 or 3 other products as well?
Yeah, we just had Power Rush for almost a year and a half, and just in one flavor too. Okay. We figured if we're doing something right, keep doing it. And then before we had to, really take the steps to get more products added to it. I mean, the theory behind it is that, we were initially in our very close network where it was mainly friends, family, and just kind of a local base that we had. So everything was all grassroots, and we just knew that we could grow the company outside of that. And we didn't really need to invest in other products while people were still trying the first thing that we had to offer. So we basically used that mentality for about a year until we had a big enough customer base where we said we think that we can start providing them with more options than just what we had to start with. So that was when we started adding more SKUs to the line.
Did you have either in your business plan or in your mind when you would start a second product or a third product, or even additional flavors within the line? I mean, was it more of when we have X amount of cash coming back from product 1, or did you say, listen, in 6 months, I'm going to go ahead and launch a new product?
Yeah, our original business plan, I believe, had it in 9 months. We were going to be coming out with a second flavor. And the original plan we had was just go after flavors that Gatorade did. We figured that was what everybody liked, and they'd been around for years. That's why we started with a lemon lime. Second one was supposed to be an orange, and then we were going to go with like a glacier blue, something like that afterwards. Ended up not being the route that we wanted after we got the response initially back from everything. But yeah, it was supposed to be just keep on the one product, keep hammering that for as long as we could. And then probably about 9 months to a year was when we were going to start teasing some new options, some new products, and really start growing the line.
Did you live up to that plan or no?
Oh God, no. But I tell you that every hiccup along the way is what we ran into. I mean, every hiccup coming from things that there's just things you got to react the best that you possibly can, but you can't plan for them at all.
Jake, let's talk a little bit about labels, because you mentioned your first run, you weren't happy with the labels and whatnot. Did you design the labels, or did you hire an external person to do that and obviously go back and forth with you on design?
First time, yeah, it was graphic designer, all him. I told him, you know, and when you have a shitty graphic designer, in a sense, they ask you, you know, what labels do you like out there? You know, that's like the first thing that should flag your mind, like, hey, this guy isn't to me that serious. But anyway, so the first time, you know, I just had basic things in mind. I was like, oh, you know, C4 Ultimate looks cool. It was a pretty basic label. I thought, at the time I was like, oh, it's just gonna get the job done. But when I took a break in 2018, you know, labeling is very important. Labeling. So I drew up a skull. I did a lot of my own research and stuff, and I really did. I did some of it. And then I went with another graphic designer, and I told him, hey man, like I want something like this. You know, it needs to pop. That's the important thing. Like this shit needs to pop. It needs to look fire. So I'm very happy with how it looks. There might be something cool coming later this year, but yeah, I'm really happy with how that one came out.
How did you find this label person? Again, in a Google search, or a friend of a friend, or
a friend of a friend? This guy.
And what about you, Will? How did you approach your labels, Will?
When we were first getting started, the logo that we have was actually just got some ideas from some people on Fiverr, where, you know, it's give them $5, they'll give you a logo in about 30 seconds with no thought process behind it. So we took that and then kind of adapted it to be. We just were inspired from that and then kind of came up with our own twists on it. But our labels, pretty much everything we do is almost all in-house. Our Pete, one of our other business partners, came up with the original label. I don't even have one of those laying around anymore. But we had basically laid out everything. We liked all the fonts, all the graphics, but it was basically just like a flat design. It was all charcoal with some green accents. And it looked fine. It would have been good. It didn't stand out or anything, but it definitely looked professional. And then it was funny. Him and I were just having a brainstorm session one night, and he just was like, I want to throw space on this. He's like, no one's really using space as much as it should be. Like, we could be the guys that are just like, we'll just figure it out and just start throwing some galaxies and some like cosmic clouds in the background and shit. Threw a background image in just behind all of the text, and we were all like, literally just stopped what we were doing and we're like, oh shit, that's it. And ran with it. And then after the rebrand that we have, I actually designed that label. And I mean, we're all we're all getting experts at the Adobe suite at this point, just from having to do all the work. But yeah, that was a combination of Illustrator and Photoshop, just putting those together.
Gotcha. Now, when we look at labels, obviously on the labels is the ingredient panel, whether it's open prop or prop blend. Jake, when it comes to actually doing that aspect, okay, how important is it? Do you let me figure out how to rephrase this. When you create the label, I should say the ingredient panel, do you send it out? Do you have 3 or 4 resources that you can send it out to and fact check and double check? Or do you feel comfortable in your skills that it goes right to label or right to manufacturing?
So basically you're asking if I formulate and I'm like, this is cool, or are you asking, or do I check it with 3 or 4 other people?
More for like spell check and things along those lines. Because just to be honest, I hear so many times, like I've called companies out because of misspelled items, and they go ahead, and the response I get many times is, well, it was the manufacturer, the label creator that did it wrong. And I'm thinking, no, it started with you. You didn't fact check.
Yeah.
So do you have a process where you do it and maybe you send it out to your mom to look at it, or you send it to a couple of your workout buddies just to check, spell check and things like that?
Yeah, I send that to everybody that we work with. I got Deegan, I got a couple of Tim. They help me big time with the brand. Now I also send it to Pretty Justin. I send this everything I do. I'm like, fuck that. Everybody needs to see this because that's crazy. I see people, they mess up on some things, and I'm like, that could be me. That could be anybody if you don't do your due diligence. So I'm always once you print those things out, that's it. I don't want to throw away a couple $100 because I didn't. Yeah, so I always do it.
And let's face it, spell check isn't going to catch a lot of things like betaine and a lot of the other nomenclature and whatnot. So, I just laugh when people just take it upon themselves, because just life in general, sometimes you get hyper-focused on writing something that you see it corrected, but sometimes people don't realize, get a second, third, fourth set of eyes, like you said, send it out.
Yeah, you're biased when you're looking at your product and you've seen the same thing like for hours,
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look.
Will, do you have an SOP when you're like for spell check and editing and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I'm normally one of the content creators, so I'll come up with the first batch or write something up, but it's got to have at least 4 or 5 other people looking at it before we do anything with it. I am atrocious when it comes to spelling and errors like that, because I normally, to get a full idea from start to finish out, I've got to rush through the middle section to try and get all of my ideas, then go back and reorganize them. But at that point, I've already been staring at something for a couple hours, so to go back with the detail of checking each word on there, normally my eyes are shot. So you just need to get a fresh pair on there for someone else, which is one of the benefits of having 3 other business partners, is that people can go back in, double check your work, and make sure that you don't sound like an idiot. And that your thoughts are cohesive, and everything kind of lays out right.
So once you have your label, your ingredient panel, everything set, you guys send it out to the label manufacturer. Do they send you, because I know they send you like a JPEG proof of some sort, maybe a PDF or a JPEG, but did they ever send you like an actual sample of what it's going to look like, or is it more of, hey, looks good on the screen here, now run me off 144? And Will, I guess I'll ask you that.
Yeah, so I actually use my local Staples for that. They send you back the proof JPEG from the the printer, but it's the same thing that you sent them. It's normally just formatted with some lines in it where the bleed's going to be at, and it's pretty much everything that you've already provided them with. I'll go to Staples and just get something printed up and then tape it to a label, just to kind of get like a hands-on prototype to see what it looks like. Do we want to change the colors? Is the font too small? What blends into what so it's not legible? Just getting that physical prototype is so important to coming out, like to putting the whole design together. Because it's one thing to just see the flat version of it on your computer screen, but then to actually get it in your hands and look at it and see how much you like it and things like that, it's a whole different perspective on the product.
Jake, what are some pitfalls someone should look out for when dealing with a label manufacturer, or have you had any issues or pitfalls to look out for?
Yeah, so I've used a couple different label printing agencies. Big ones out there. There's Frontier Label. There's if you're going to Texas to manufacture, they'll normally push Wizard labels out there in Texas. I've had issues before, and you have to hold accountable. One time they messed something up, and I was like, look, either you're going to do this, I'm never coming back. And you just got to have the competition in mind. Like, I can go to somewhere else and I can get this done for the same, the same price, a quarter a label. So, either you're going to fix it and eat this, or, I'm going to go somewhere else. So normally that helps, but just holding them accountable, that's the biggest issue.
Gotcha. And now let's talk about, not a lot of people realize that, and I've just learned this out myself over the last year, that you need insurance on the actual, not insurance on the business, I assume, but more on the actual products itself. Am I correct in saying that, Jake?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now how does someone find, because obviously you're not going to call Geico or State Farm and say, hey, look, I have a supplement company. I need insurance for 500 pre-workouts. Where do you go to find an insurance company for supplements?
So you can get indemnified from the contract manufacturer, if they have insurance, which they should. So you get indemnified. Basically, they have liability all the way up to their end. So when it leaves their door, all the way up until it leaves their door. So let's say people get sick, right? And they do traceability. It's on them. I mean, I had, right? We had nothing to do with that, right? I don't touch the raws. That's why we pay him to blend this stuff. So now I have insurance from when it gets from out their door to me, and how I ship it to people. So Lloyd's of London is a very popular insurance provider. I just found an insurance broker online. I went through a couple, and then one guy was like, you can go with me. You can look for 10 other people, but we're going to look for the same. We look through the same system. So, I was like, whatever, I'll stay with you. And London. But he told me it's different because I think I told you one time, there's some ingredients out there that, like, for example, isopropyl norepinephrine, I've asked about, and they're like, well, we can't insure you if you use that ingredient because it was used in 2007, or like they put a new supplement ingredient notification. I forget what it's called right off the head, and it was denied. So, it's not recognized. And I was like, how are these other companies using it? Bigger companies. And he said, well, there's different entities within Lloyd's of London, so they just might not be catching. I don't know. That's a whole can of worms I didn't want to open up.
Yeah.
I just threw that there.
Will, what about you? Was it just as simple too, or did you have a different strategy or different search?
Yeah, I mean, we just Google searched it, got a couple quotes, shopped around, and it was, that was pretty much it. I mean, our formula is, as you've seen, it's 6 pretty well-known ingredients, so there's not much on there where people had to really look around to, or fight this ingredient, we can't insure for that. It was pretty easy for us on the first round on there, and same thing, just Google search, get some quotes, and then go with the one that not necessarily the cheapest, but the guy that you feel the most comfortable talking to with the best service. Because honestly, the prices are all fairly comparable. I mean, if it's a difference of $10, $15, but someone's going to email you back in an hour, I'd rather pay that.
Is it like an umbrella policy, or is it based on like the amount of products in your catalog?
The one that we were using was pretty much umbrella, but at the time I only had one product, so it was pretty easy for us. Everything was as a startup with only one product, one flavor, one SKU. They're covering everything for me.
What about you, Jake? Because obviously you've got more of a robust product line.
Same as Will. It was umbrella. I had to re-up, and I showed him at the fat burner, and he was like, well, how much caffeine is in it? You have to, and I told him, and he's like, oh, well, the price has to go up a little bit. And I was like, oh, fuck. But that's it. So that's it, And I was like, man, that's really unfortunate. He's like, yeah. And also my prices went up because I've been in business. He said the longer you're in business, the higher your prices go up. Maybe I'm getting ripped off, but yeah.
Really? So do you generally call your insurance agent every time you drop a new product?
Yeah, he's asked me, my broker, he asked me to always send him like the full label and all that stuff.
Okay. So how important is it for a marketing budget? I mean, I think that's the problem sometimes with companies where they put all the money into the actual product themselves, and maybe they don't have anything on the side for marketing, whether it's a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, whatever it is. Will, did you pad in a marketing budget?
Yeah. So especially this is something where, Jake and I are going to be a little bit different on here, is that with our product not being a hard hitting supplement, you don't take it and it melts your face off, and high stim people are overlooking what, our panel, because it's a little bit smaller. I need to promote the lifestyle brand behind it. I need to make somebody want to have the lifestyle that I'm pushing with my product. That's our whole thing. The marketing that we go through is all that power, to make it so that you've got the energy to, finish up work and then go to the gym. Not necessarily to say like, my pre-workout's going to give you the best workout of your life. I just need to get you there. So there's that. We do a lot with like lifestyle of hiking, biking, snowboarding, skiing. And then on top of it, since no one in my company, granted, we're all, enthusiasts on the thing, but I'm not a professional surfer. I mean, I can like to go out paddleboarding, kayaking, trying to be on the water as much as I want, but my content is just like, if I can stand up on a board, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm not, catching barrels and shredding the gnar. So then I've got to go, hire surfers so that I can get content for everything like that. And smaller guys, yeah, you can just give them some product and a t-shirt. They're happy with it. But some of the bigger pages where you're really going to catch some people's attention, you've got to have some cash put aside for that as well too. And, starting off, you can always just kind of run on your brand's hype of like the launch. This is, everyone wants to help out the small business when they're getting started, the friends of friends, and just using your own network. But then after that initial excitement dies down, that's when you need to have the capital to really start increasing your marketing to just get a further reach and get in front of people. And then also have eye-catching content that's worth someone stopping to scroll for 2 seconds so that you can, show them something that they're interested in.
What methods did you use? Was there a certain platform or platforms that you felt successful when launching?
Yeah, so I mean, when we originally launched, Instagram isn't or was different from what it is now. So, we were able to use a lot of different, we don't even have to hide it or anything. We had bots running 24/7 on there, just following, unfollowing people, commenting on stuff, sending out DMs. And it'll grow your page rapidly. Now their algorithms pull that out and will flag you real fast if you're sending out, 400 or 500 comments in an hour, because obviously a human's not capable of doing that. So, once they changed that policy up, that slowed us down a little bit, but we were doing that. We were running Facebook ads almost regular. A couple $100 a month, just of, here's someone. We rarely ever showed people working out. We just showed people going to the gym, kind of like getting ready, taking a pre-workout, something like that. And that was what we, just kind of getting you there was our product was the kick in the butt to kind of let you finish off your day. So, but yeah, that was marketing was super important for us. And even now it's still one of the biggest hurdles, trying to come up with original content that's eye catching for people.
Jake, what about you? Did you pad in a marketing budget into your plan, or when you were launching, or as you move along?
No, now I do, but no, Facebook was kind of like a beast, I just never, I used it for a little, oh no. So in 2017, there's an agency called Haibu. And they suck. Never go to Haibu. Right? They just wasted my time. I was like, I was in the military. I was pretty active in the job, So my mindset then, it was just for my friends. So I really didn't care. I was like, oh, the money's doing something. But then I asked them to change something in the ads, and they never did it. So I think it was a 6-month contract. Cut it. I didn't really use Facebook ever again. Now I'm starting to, Justin and Pretty, they're helping me, and I'm also learning, but it is very important to have a marketing budget.
Facebook's a monster right now too. Having someone that can understand the Facebook business marketing tools for who you're trying to market to, just specifically, find your demographic, you're gonna throw away hundreds of dollars just trying to dial in for what it is. Because you can go as broad as you want to try and just get viewers, but then to try and dial it into like how you're going to run ads for people that are, that have a little bit more like a nautical surfing lifestyle, as opposed, because the other people that just go to the gym, they don't want to see that. So you need to have ads running for each specific lifestyle that you're trying to hit with each product, and knowing how to get everything set up so those people are targeted mainly for the people that are going to be purchasing, as opposed to just interacting with your posts. It's a whole college degree in itself, just using their software.
Yeah, and I think that's one of I can only assume that many people that want to open up a supplement company, they might have 3,000 users on Instagram, and they think, oh, I'm just going to put a post on my Instagram feed and everyone's going to buy from me. And I think sometimes they don't understand how important that product itself is, as well as the marketing. If you look at some of the giants out there like Ghost has the handshake between overall marketing content and products. Glaxon, another great one, a company called Obvi out of New Jersey, marketing and products. And I think sometimes people forget that. They figure, oh, I'll just post something on Facebook and I'll just sell out in no time. And I think sometimes people forget about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the quality of the content that you're posting is so important too. I mean, those three brands that you named, I mean, Ghost does it with Ghost Lifestyle. It's in their name. They make you want to, go to California and, watch a sunset on the beach while you're drinking Ghost Energy just because the post looked so damn cool while the colors are all balanced and everything pops. I mean, that versus, someone who just took a picture like, while their cell phone's on the floor of the gym and they're just like, yeah, I use this when I work out. It's the difference in the quality for there and the professionalism is just night and day, and it's so much harder. And the more you get into it, the more you analyze and critique yourself, and then all of a sudden now you're a photographer and you're buying your own equipment just to make a Facebook post, and it's a rabbit hole to fall down.
Jake, the one thing I have to give kudos to you though is you have your own little. It's the cartel, right? You've got your network of people that are always like, every time I look at your stories, they're never like of you per se. It's everybody else like promoting the hell out of the product. How did you, how did you get this thing going, or did it just organically grow?
Just organically grew. People really like the product, and I made a Facebook group, and we stay in touch. It's a small group of people, but they, I message these people every day. Johnny, I message him all the time. All these people, it's a daily thing. They're a part of my life. It's crazy.
They're your extended brand family.
Yeah. We always message each other. They always send me memes. It's a cool thing. It's really cool.
Jake, when you fast forward now, is your perception of the overall supplement company, you owning a supplement company and industry, the same when you thought about it either 3 years ago when you relaunched to what it is now? Is it where you wanted it to be?
I really didn't have a goal when I started. I just wanted to provide something awesome to people. I don't know. I just went off the. You said it earlier. What is it? Fly off the thing of your pants. What'd you say?
The seat of your pants?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Flying off the seat of my pants. I've heard that before. Now, is it where I wanted it to be? Yeah. I think it is, and stupid. No pig. Funny, man. But yeah, I think where it, and we have a lot of plans. I think it's a little bit bigger than I thought. There's a lot that goes into this stuff. We'll mention some of it. Wholesale margins, all that stuff. A lot. But yeah. So I think it's where.
I was going to say, so I would think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that if you weren't expecting much and where you are now, you're probably overly enjoyed or over happy. Yeah,
I'm always enjoyed anytime someone likes the product, anytime someone tags me or someone messages me, customers will message, and, if I put something, they'll respond to the story of like, yo, that shit hit so hard. And, I'm just like, yes,
As Will said earlier, your goal, Jake, is to melt people's faces with 2 scoops of El Jefe.
Yeah, I want to give them a wow. It's not the hardest hitting, but it does the best. I want to make people feel happy. Get that rush in the gym, and I think it does that. It does that and more. So I love playing that shit.
And what about you, Will? I know you had that big hiccup last year with your warehouse, but maybe prior to that, were you what were your initial thoughts, and maybe where you are then and now?
Yeah, we so right now, I mean, in November, we basically started from ground zero and are trying to rebuild from there. So we had almost 2 years of building, getting our brand out, doing everything, and then just radio silence for like 6 months. Right before that happened, we were doing really well. We had bunch of local gyms and a couple like franchises that were carrying our products. So they were, we had the wholesale, the regular wholesale purchases coming in, crap ton of traffic coming to the page for our actual website. And we were actually getting our conversions up on there too, as well, which is always good to see when you get the customer acquisition costs a little bit lower. But yeah, I mean, everything was moving in the right direction. it had kind of slowed down a little bit from what our business plan was hoping to be at, but it's also because we launched much faster than we thought. And then I tried to scale the business plan to say like, okay, it was actually by summer of 2019, I was expecting to not be working for anybody and just be doing power supplements full time. And that was going to be my income and not have any other side jobs, anything like that. And then obviously we had a hiccup, lost all of our product. And then that was, you got nothing. So it's basically right now we're trying to rebuild, kind of get trust back into all the customers that we used to have, because there was a couple batches of some clumpy product that went out that, we've got to tell people that it's, we've got fresh stuff now. We're using different manufacturing and it's a much higher quality product.
Jake, here's a question, since you kind of hit on something, Will, there. And I believe you guys haven't, so this isn't at ASC Supplements. But if you're a manufacturer, I should say, if you're your company and your manufacturer sends out a bad batch of whatever it is, okay, at what point do you, as the company, step in and do a recall versus just kind of letting it be out there? And I mean, do you be proactive and let people know, listen, if you get a bad batch of X, call me, contact me, we'll get you a new one? Or do you just kind of, or do you just play proactive, play defense? I mean, what is your philosophy?
Well, it depends what level we're talking about. So we have a GMP certificate with Wyoming, and that basically every state is different. Every state has their own different things. How we store the product, we're technically classified as distributor because we sell online and we wholesale. So it's kind of in Wyoming, they view it just one level down of me actually putting it together. So they're pretty stringent. So recall procedures, if people are getting sick, that's where traceability comes in, where my job in it is like, there's a lot number at the bottom. Every customer that buys, every wholesale that buys, to attach a lot number to that order. So if someone gets sick, if a lot of people get sick, you have to investigate. You have to do a little investigation internally and see, is this a reoccurring issue? Because some people will say, hey, I didn't like the pre-workout. Not everyone's gonna love your product. It might not be for them. So you have to keep that in mind, But if a lot of people start coming in saying, hey, I got sick off this, I threw up, if it's a trend, then you might have to recall your product. And when you recall, there's recall procedures that we have in place that Wyoming made us put together. But you got to go back to manufacturing and be like, look, they have to have traceability too of all the ingredients they put in there. So if it's, let's say, beta-alanine, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe people are getting sick from beta-alanine, the raws that they got, there's salmonella or something crazy in there, then they have to go to all the brands that they put that in there and recall, tell them like, okay, you got to recall thing, I use that beta-alanine in your product. So long-winded answer, but traceability. Yeah.
But let's just say someone gets sick, okay, and let's say they wind up in a hospital for whatever reason, but at the end of the day, everything's okay. But now, does the liability really fall on you? Can they go after you, or does it really call back to the manufacturer for whatever happened at the manufacturing process?
If it's a lawsuit, then it'd be I get my manufacturer involved, and it's probably going to be more on them, because there's going to be a whole thing, because my insurance company will be like, well, if it's on them, then you're indemnified and they need to be a part of this. So definitely probably be on them.
Okay.
I've been getting into a lot of the more legal stuff on this recently, just because I have to. But it's I know a couple of the things it all does basically like the chain of command as it falls down on there. Like, for example, everything that we get comes normally heat sealed, and then it also has will heat seal with the paper, and then also heat seal around the actual container itself. So if there's something where inside of the container, that's where the liability falls on the manufacturer, but the customer has the right to sue you because of the product, since you're the one that actually is the one who's representing and selling it. From there, you would actually go back and sue your manufacturer. So it's basically, you're still going to get hit with a lawsuit, but then you're also kind of passing on whatever you did to sue the manufacturer from there. So it kind of just falls down a chain. But there's also other things too. Like, for example, like I sell in a lot of gyms, and sometimes in the middle of the summer, if they don't have air conditioning, it's getting hot and nasty and humid in there. And that's not my fault. So if I've got product that starts clumping up in there, granted, yeah, it makes my brand look bad because the quality that the end customer is getting isn't at to the, you know, the temperature controlled if they would have bought it directly from my website. But essentially, yeah, at that point, it would fall back onto the gym, since I'm not liable for how they store the product.
Gotcha. Now, when you had your warehouse issue, did any of the product get sent out, Will? Or no? Did you catch it before it hit people?
There was we caught it before, but they were having issues up before then. So there was some products that were going out, and it wasn't a lot. I think we only had about 4 or 5 people that actually reached out to us that had gotten product, and it wasn't anything that was terrible. It was just humidity got basically penetrated the heat seals, and the citrulline clumped up, and it turned into like a gummy bear. So it was literally imagining like eating like a Sour Patch Kid that just never got sweet. And that's pretty much what happened. Like, it wasn't anything that was bad. You could actually still even use it. We know a lot of people that even just still ate the clumps, just because they were sour, and that was fine. But yeah, the quality on that is not what we wanted. I mean, our powder is super fine anyways. You barely even need to stir it when it goes into a glass of water. Yeah. So we just had to recall it because it wasn't up to the standard of what we put out.
Gotcha. Jake, what mistakes have you made throughout the process that maybe you'd alert other people to avoid? Now, looking back over the last couple of years.
Probably, like with your contract manufacturer, definitely have a list. You know, build out a list, and if you could, go out and meet them. That's a big deal, and a lot of people, they don't have the opportunity to do. Which I was in a different position at the time. I was in Florida. I was stationed in Florida, and Hurricane Michael hit. So I had about 3 months of pretty much like, they're like, just stay out of the local area of Panama City. So I just went out to these different contract manufacturers. It took 2 weeks, and I just went to a couple places, and I met them. But definitely meet them and try to get a mentor. You know, that's another thing. Like Justin and Brady, they helped me out a lot. There's a lot of other people too that I look up to in the industry, like business partners, like business to business, retail partners, Major Muscle in San Antonio. He's given me a lot of insight. So definitely keep your ears open, have a plan, and have like a lot of options. That's another thing. Because a lot of people just Google search, go for the first thing they see, and that's the mistake. So.
Will, same question.
Yeah, I mean, manufacturing is a huge thing, and for whatever reason, there's still like a bit of a curtain that divides the actual contract manufacturer and the brand as well too. So trying to get that where you can trust somebody to really know their practices and seeing how they do everything is super important. And it also really sucks, which is again something else that, to piggyback on what Jake said, is having a mentor that knows what to look for, as opposed to, I mean, you can show up and go to the plant and see everything on how they manufacture, how they mix, how they package. But if you don't know what you're looking at, it's just kind of all smoke and mirrors, and they might just be giving you, the runaround while they're doing it. So having a mentor and having someone that can help you out with that is huge, so that it just saves you time, honestly, so that you don't have to learn those mistakes. You can just kind of cut through knowing what, having your own checklist of, all right, here's what we're going through, and then going with it from there. Also, the big thing that and again, this is just a difference in brands, is having a marketing plan set up when you're doing a launch and as you're going through, different products. I normally have a marketing calendar that we set up in the beginning of each month. And it's, okay, on this weekend, we're going to be filming. This weekend, we're going to take a couple pictures so that we have some posts and things like that. And then knowing when they're supposed to be getting released, for which audiences, what holidays are coming up, so that you can run sales and run everything with that. Trying to just be reactive to those things as opposed to being proactive really, really makes a difference with your sales, especially when you're coming into holidays and, big buying times.
Gotcha. And then, Will, I don't know if you know this person, Maldo Rob. I love my Power Rush gains for days.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Now, here's another one, guys. Obviously, I'm putting some of these in, but for you, Jake, if a person wants to open a new company, let's say one product plus marketing, insurance, everything else, what would you say ballpark, would you have in your bank to start up a venture?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, like what product, how they want to do it. I'd probably say to be safe, like 10,000, something like that. It depends, I think it was around there. I didn't know all the stuff that went into it. I just kept going, and I was like, oh, you gotta do this, and oh, you gotta do that, and I just kept doing it. But definitely have all the expenses. I didn't know, so I'd say maybe 10. Yeah.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, I mean, we were right around there. We started off with, I think, $7,000, and then we had another 3 that were available to us. But I mean, especially if you don't know what you're doing, you just kind of have the idea of, I want to own a supplement company. They sell it to you online. A lot of the contract manufacturers are just like, it's so easy to start your own brand. And then you read into it and you're like, holy shit, this is easy to start my own brand. Like, you just get a credit card with like no interest for 18 months because you started a business, you throw everything on there, and all of a sudden you've got product to start selling. Like, it can literally be that simple. And most brands start off with that. The 18-month no interest is fantastic, especially if you can get 10 to 15 grand. But then again, it all depends on the ingredients that you have. So the overall cost of your goods to come in, and then whatever you want to do for marketing. I mean, if you're just going to be doing a grassroots campaign, showing up at gyms and handing out samples, your marketing's next to nothing because it's all just guerrilla. But if you're going to be doing a lot of Facebook ads, know that for Facebook to get a conversion for a sale, they want almost $200 a week, because they're going to be blasting the same, they'll pick like 500 people and they just show them your ad like 7 times a day until they get so familiar with your brand that it doesn't seem foreign to them anymore. And then they somehow build trust just because they looked at you enough. And then eventually you'll convert probably about 3 to 5% of those people. But yeah, I mean, 10 grand is decent enough to get like a small, like 300 to 500 unit run of, it depends on, again, the label and how many ingredients you have and the cost of those ingredients. And then it gives you a little bit for marketing on there as well too, and to cover your insurance. But
Gotcha.
I mean, overall, especially like a small startup, like how we were when we started, our overhead per month was like next to nothing. It was basically the money that we were putting out for marketing, and that was pretty much it.
Will, I know you're very big into doing a lot of the gym not the gym sessions, but the gym, what's the word I'm looking for?
The product demos, yeah.
Product demos. Jake, do you do anything? I mean, is there anything else that you do low cost, whether it's that or aside from the typical marketing? Is there anything you do low cost to get the product out there, or just the brand out there?
I try to build. Well, I used to in Wyoming. I used to do that. I might start doing it. So I got the military a couple months ago, so I might do it. I was juggling 2 things at once for the longest time, so maybe now I will. But the biggest thing I was doing was just trying to build relationships with people. So like that's where you see the ambassador, ASC Cartel. It's not big, but we have a strong relationship. Someone, Capital Nutrition, that relationship started. One of the ambassadors actually went to the store in Chicago, and he said, hey, I got this product, this guy's awesome. It'd be a good fit for your store. And he didn't ask for money. He just said, I just want to see you grow. So building relationships, you have people that are they're that committed to you. That's what I started to focus on. Just building better relationships with people.
Gotcha. And Will, this is for you from our friend No Fate. Do sampling at gyms equate to noticeable sales?
Huge for us. That's one of, and again, it just piggybacks right off of what Jake was saying, is that building your rapport with your customers, especially as a smaller company, they want to know who they're buying from and what they're purchasing. And when you can have that face-to-face conversation with somebody, even 5 to 10 minutes before they start doing a workout, while they're sampling your product, especially if it tastes good and they don't have to, just chug it and then keep moving. It's huge for us. And then normally someone will end up kind of just, almost not necessarily saying like it's like a pity buy, but they'll be like, oh yeah, this is a small company, they're local, I want to support them. So they'll grab something and then use it a couple times. And then normally we'll get a message from them being like, hey, I actually really like this stuff. I'm glad I picked this up. And then normally from there, we'll just keep that conversation going, and then just just keep converting that customer month after month. And that's until no, I mean, honestly, if you can keep a customer for your pre-workout for 3 months straight, that's normally a pretty good rate. After that, they're gonna just want to try something different. You either have to launch a lot of other different flavors so that they've got something new to try, just because they're so loyal to the brand, or let them try something else and then they'll come back eventually. But to even hit further on that, one of my favorite parts about doing gym demos and selling in a location like that is, one, the gym owners will actually see how we interact with our customers, and then they want to get a piece of that. So normally they'll end up picking us up and start actually wholesaling us in their location. But then number two, the direct to customer sales, while I'm standing right in front of somebody, especially if it's cash, I don't have to worry about credit card processing, shipping, any of my other costs on there. So normally, and then on top of it, if I've got demo product that I can give out as well too, where a lot of times we'll sell something at full price without having to discount it, knowing that I'm saving $7 on shipping, but here's a free shirt to go along with it. So now they're even invested even deeper into the brand, which is, I will do that all day, every day. If I could be in a gym literally 7 days a week, handing out product and talking to customers, I would be there. I'd love it.
Jake, you're not on Amazon, are you?
No, 2017 we were, but then they started getting strict about the ingredients, and I've never really got back on that.
Will, I know you are, because we talked about this, in previous conversations. Maybe you can just give a quick overview of maybe pricing or anything like that, because that's another thing. People think that, just put it on Amazon and it'll sell like hotcakes, when we know it won't.
Yeah, we almost just use the monthly cost of Amazon as an advertising. That's pretty much where it's at. We don't really do a lot of sales on Amazon, but to say you're listed on Amazon gives your brand a little bit more credibility, especially being a smaller company. We've got a couple loyal people that there's about maybe like a dozen people that are picking it up on Amazon every month, but because those sales are low, we never end up higher into the algorithms to show up. If someone searches pre-workout, we're like on page 10. I mean, it took us for even a while to, even if you search for power or power supplements, to even show up on our own searches. Granted, when Amazon had own power, we were competing against them on their platform, which sucked. But since, oh my God. And on top of them, I beat them to market too. So they were infringing on trademark and then still crushing us. And basically we had signed a non-compete to say we'll never sue you by getting listed on Amazon. So there's nothing really we could even do about it for the most part on that. But yeah, Amazon sucks. I think it's like $40 a month. Then they take a pretty hefty cut out of each one of your sales. If you want to be on FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, there's an even bigger price on there. Now, granted, their shipping costs are only $2, as opposed to when I have to ship it personally, which is $6-7. So you can kind of save there and rationalize or basically give reason to why you would want to do that. But at the same time, you don't know how Amazon's going to be sending it to somebody. As opposed to when someone orders off of Amazon through me and I'm shipping it to them, and I can send them other promotional materials and encourage them to purchase off of my website, because then we'll make more money. So here's a coupon code. Here's some free giveaways. I got a water bottle funnel and some stickers for you. If you just have it fulfilled by Amazon, they just get the product in a box and that's it. So in that sense, from marketing, I actually prefer it coming from us because I'm in more direct control of it. But at the end of the day, Amazon still sucks, and I cannot stress that enough. I hate Amazon.
But I've heard too that I guess you need to open an account. I've heard as low as maybe $2,500 and sometimes $3,000-4,000, to open an account, I guess.
Yeah, so it's sector specific for how much it actually costs. But when we launched, we were expecting to just be we don't need a website. We'll just be listed on Amazon and we'll sell some stuff through Facebook and that'll be our marketplace. And Amazon wanted $5,000 to be a dietary supplement listed on their page. And reason being is that people were just making knockoff versions of higher end, more well-known supplements. So, for example, I can't remember who it was, but someone was doing it where they were making a private label C4 where it was the exact same formula with just a different label on it. Okay. Even though, C4 is proprietary for the most part, they still, it's not impossible to figure out what the formula is. And they were charging $5 or $7 less than what C4 is, even though C4 is already only $20. anyways. So they were just undercutting the price, and then because I know a lot of times it was the manufacturers actually doing that and then just selling it through Amazon. So they put this gigantic price tag on being able to list on there to try and deter that, lower quality products coming out like that. Somehow, out of the grace of God, we had an Amazon brand rep reach out to us and say, "Hey, we like your brand. We'd like to have you listed on the marketplace." And they waived the $5,000 fee.
Wow.
I have no idea how, why, or anything like that. We must have just been running ads in front of the right people. But yeah, we only spend $40 a month to be listed on Amazon. But then I think they take something like between 20 and 30% of a cut on each one of our sales.
Wow. Okay. See, again, another cost that a lot of people don't think at the beginning when you're making your business plan is, I think people just think that, I put it on Amazon, they take their cut, but obviously a lot more invested than people realize.
Yeah, what sucks is with Amazon is that we get about the same margins per unit wholesaling, except I only sell one, as opposed to wholesaling where I'm moving like 2 to 4 cases at a time. So
wow, okay.
You're like, you get that one bulk check from when you have like a gym purchase, 24 units, as opposed to making that same small cut from Amazon where it's barely covering your cost of goods.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been really, really good. I mean, I hate to kind of cut short because I got to wind down just a little bit. I know it's Sunday afternoon, and even though we're on COVID, there's probably still stuff to do. Jake's got his family. I know Will's got business. But Jake, I know you've shared with me in confidence some stuff that you're looking at this year. I don't know if there's any teasers you want to share with the people that are listening. I know you've got an Instagram post you did yesterday, something new and exciting coming up. It's not going to be an El Jefe. I don't know if there's anything you want to share. Otherwise, it's just kind of, we'll let it be and let people watch the brand.
Yeah, that one, watch the brand. That's going to be, there's already like 500 already reserved for the business partners. I'm trying to be better with giving them time to stock it on their shelves. But yeah, half of that's already reserved. So that's going to be exciting. People are going to like it. There's going to be a sleep aid and some other goodies too. I don't want to get too crazy, but there's going to be some goodies this year. So.
All right, since you said sleep aid, and I know you and I have discussed it offline because I'm always looking for a good sleep aid. What, do you have a timeline on that yet, or rough estimate?
It's going to be it's next quarter, maybe like May-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same. Did I send you those samples last year?
Did I say that again? I'm sorry.
Did I ever send you those samples last year? Because this is the same formula. Remember, it was called Muerto, but it's gonna be called something different now. But did I ever send you samples of those?
Not for a sleep aid, no. Now I'm excited.
Now I feel left out.
Okay, I'll send you some.
So good. Will, what about you as we wind down?
I'll follow you on Insta, Will.
Yeah, definitely.
Will, anything exciting for you to announce here while we wind down?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a couple of big releases and a lot of reformulations that are going to be releasing hopefully before summer. Big thing that we're focusing on right now is more flavors of Power Rush. We had the overwhelming response from the peach iced tea. The process on how we got to there, we're replicating in different ways. So we think that we've got some really nice options that are going to be released hopefully in the next few months or so. The other couple other things we're working with is we're working with a sponsorship for a couple partners where they'll be getting their own branded flavors, which we're pretty excited about. So kind of working on that. Yeah, and then a couple other products. The big thing that we've got coming out next week is we're partnering up and kind of like getting back into our local community. We're going to be partnering with this with a charity called Spread the Love. We had done it once before with them where we had an option on our page for shipping for you basically make a $5 donation and it upgraded your shipping from being first class to priority. So you'd get it in like 2 days as opposed to like 3 to 5. And then we also would make a donation and match that and then give it to a charity that supports supports mental health. That's a local, and especially it was someone that went to high school with us that is the charity's based out of. So it's something that's pretty, we've been involved with them before and we like to support them, but that's going to be our next big thing is, doing what we can to kind of give back to our community for a little while and then growing the brand from there.
And for any of you folks that are following the ticker, I apologize. I was posting the wrong Instagram for Jake. It's actually ASC_supplements, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, because I had it all as one word. Gentlemen, it's definitely been a pleasure. I look forward to continuing our friendship. For those of you that are just following this, I started Sup Talk. This will be the 8th year that's been going on. And I started this to give light to the smaller brands, to give education. And I had no idea that I'd make so many great friends, including you guys. Thank you for everybody that's following us. And again, give Will a follow, give Jake a follow. And as always, thank you for following Sup Talk Radio. Gentlemen, have a great rest of the day.
See you guys.
Thank you guys.